think monogamy is for me.
This is Conversations with Cousin Carlie. Hi, my name is Sheila Singleton, aka the Herpes Goddess and founder of Herpes Can Never. This is Conversations with Cousin Carlie. Cousin?
Grand Rising cousin. Yes, this is Carlie, also Carlie Rock. I am a coach as well as the CEO of Merch by Carlie Rock, and I'm so ready for this conversation.
Yes, we are talking about polyamorous relationships today. So let's get into it because
Yes.
I've really been considering a polyamorous relationship lately.
Yeah.
I am a sexually fluid person. I like to consider myself a sapiosexual, but I know in every relationship that I've been in with a man, I always told that man that do not expect me to let go of women. If you're going to be with me, understand that I want to be with women. But I've never required that from any women when it came to men.
Okay.
So now that I'm in this space where I feel like, do I really want to be monogamous? And I'm asking myself that because I get turned off a lot.
Okay.
So I can get on this high with a person, and in the minute I see something I don't like, I tend to disconnect.
Mm-hmm.
So it's so important for me to build foundations and friendships with people so that when I do disconnect, I can just go back to the friendship.
Yes.
But I'm thinking because I do this, is a monogamous relationship truly right for me?
Mm-hmm.
I'm not quite sure yet.
Okay. It's so funny. I've been thinking about the idea of it too. I think the conversation has always been up around me, but I I don't like to thus far, I haven't like to necessarily want to share someone. However, like I said in our video about cheating, um, when I was in relationships that weren't exclusive, where we didn't have a title, we didn't have any of that, I was able to enjoy those men more for their personality, for the connection that we had built. Um, Not until like a certain period that I want more where it's like, okay, I would like us to actually be official. I want us to be exclusive, that type of thing. But leading up to it, if there wasn't a pressure for monogamy, I don't know if that would be my natural inclination because of the way that I would date, the way that I would love to experience these different personalities. And I realized that this man might have these certain qualities that I like, and this one has these types of qualities, and this man I'm actual sexually involved with.
Yeah.
And we have a lot of passion and good conversation here. And so when I was doing that, funny enough, like my sisters, especially my little sister, would be like, Carlie, like this is never what I would expect from you because of how you are. And so she was like, I'd always think that you'd require like exclusive relationship with anybody before you even engaged in all of these, like especially sexually with these people. And I used to think like, okay, so maybe something wrong, but I realized number one, these weren't the men who were looking for monogamy with me. And number two, it ended up giving me a good balance, especially around that time. I was a student. I still had like home life stuff I was dealing with. And so if you put everybody together, it was a great combination for me. And so lately I've been thinking about that. And I think part of that is because the conversation's about all men cheat. And it's just like, it's a never ending story that's being told that like, so what I'm hearing from all of this is, Carlie, you're going to be cheated on, whether you like it or not. I don't want to believe that in my spirit. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But it's been making me think, should the floor therefore be open to research and look at what polyamory entails, how couples make it work in their life in different ways. Because the main thing about it for me is I would not want my husband to cheat on me, right? I know how to, and I have been loyal before. I've been loyal to some people even when we weren't in an actual relationship with them. But the thing for me is, if my husband cheated on me, I'd want to cheat. I'd want to cheat back, because if I'm not, especially if I'm not going to leave you, I feel like I'd have to say to him, like, you have to let me, I'm going to go do something too, because there needs to, for me, I'm about balance. I'm about balance. And if you think that it's fine for you to do, then I need you to know that it's going to be fine for me to do as well. And I know that you would rip your whole heart out of your chest if you found out that I was like, if I stepped out on you. So now the concept or the idea of being polyamorous, I'm like, should that conversation be brought up? Yeah. When you're considering an exclusive relationship with someone, maybe some of the first things that you might want to speak about is not only how do you feel about monogamy, but how do you feel about polyamory? Yeah. How do you feel about doing that? Because I feel like that's a conversation that a lot of people tend to stay away from. Mm-hmm. But you might realize that you and your partner might be more set for that.
Yeah. We've been pushed, like society pushes monogamy down our throats, that especially our generation, I can't speak for Generation Z, because they are just breaking so many different barriers and opening so many different doors. I love that generation. Yes. But we've had monogamy shoved down our throats to the point that we think it's the right way. Yes. But who's to say it is the right way? It's so many different people, and there's so many different types of connections that we build with different people. There's people in my life that feed areas in me that other people don't, but I need those other people because they feed something else into me as well. So I'm listening to you speak, and I'm like, what is the difference between an open relationship, maybe an open marriage, right, and then polygamy, Yeah. And then I was talking to somebody that I'm interested in, that I'm building a foundation with now, and I'm kind of like, what does polyamory mean to you? Is it you're dating others and I'm dating others and the relationship is open? Is it we're bringing somebody into the relationship we already established? And if we are bringing somebody into the relationship we established, is it for sex reasons? And if it's for sex reasons, does it become a swinger situation? Right. If it's not for sex reasons, do we consider our family? What do you bring to our home? Can you help us pay our bills? Can you help us build an empire? Does our children accept you and embrace you? Like, yes, it's so many different ways a polyamorous relationship can go. And I think that's where the conflict is in my head. Like, monogamous is clear-cut rules. It's just clear. That's it. But with polyamory, there's no clear-cut rules. It really depends on, does it depend on your relationship with one person in the beginning? Or does it really depend on your relationship with yourself and the intentions you're setting forward? So I guess my question for you would be, if you were to be in a polyamorous relationship, what does that look like? What would it look like for me?
So when you were just talking about the different scenarios, the one that stuck out to me as definitely not is you are not coming. No, I'm sorry. You're not about to be a fixture in our life. I think because I am not possessive. I'm not possessive. However, I'm like, maybe I am a little bit possessive and I don't want to use that word. Maybe a little bit. And maybe I need to work out of that. But when I picture being married, I picture it being, that's Carlie. Did you know that's Carlie's husband? Did you know that's so-and-so's wife? And I consider, I see us being a unit. Okay. And so I feel like I don't know who that person is or anything, but I feel like whatever it is, we'll have to build something to get to be that unit, right? Time, history, whatever, to build that unit. And I know that sometimes people could come in your life in a day and then be like the perfect fit and all of that. But I wouldn't want anybody to infiltrate that unit personally. So I think it would have to be something where it's like, if I'm not giving you majority of what you want, first of all, just don't marry me. But if I give you majority of what you want and need, And then over time, there's certain things that you want to explore, and or certain parts of my personality, you just don't get that from me. It's either let me try, to work on it. But I think for me, if we were bringing somebody in, it's like, just go have a friend. Go have a friend if it's an emotional thing. And if it's sexual, then I think it would have to be, I don't know. I think I might have to see if I'm open to like it being like a swinger situation, or like that type of thing where you come in and then you go. Yeah. I wouldn't want someone necessarily to stay around.
Okay.
I wouldn't want them to stay around. Mm-mm.
See, me, I want my wife and I want my husband. But okay. I don't know how I feel about my wife and my husband
being together. Okay.
I don't know. I've never been in that situation.
Right.
I feel like if I set intentions on, I'm okay with them being husband and wife as well, then maybe it would be something that works for me. But I also know that monogamy has been shoved down my throat. So I'm really trying to break through those belief systems that I already have, and praying about what other people might think or feel or have to say. And I don't know. But here's the thing. I want a bisexual husband. I'm not attracted to straight men. I've learned that about myself throughout the years. So then when I say that, it's kind of like, does my husband get to have a boyfriend?
Right.
Right. It's so many different ways polygamy can go.
Right. And you see, that's the thing for me is I wouldn't want either one of us to do something separate. I wouldn't want either of us to do something separate. I need to, for me, because of what my goals are in marriage too, I need it to be, this is an us thing.
Okay.
And it's an us thing. So whatever happens, it needs to be okay. Like I said, balance. I guess balance is just my thing. It needs to be, it's the two of us, because I'm even though I might not have any desires for another man or anything, I don't know if it would sit right with me knowing that I'm out with my friends and you're out on a date.
Okay.
You know what I mean? No. So I need to know about it. I need to be there. I need to be present. And then that person needs to go. Yeah. And I think that's probably why I'd have to think on it more, because I'd never want to be disrespectful to anyone. I'd never want to have someone feeling like they were used.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Or insignificant or thrown to the side. And I do know that sometimes emotions get wrapped up. So I would never want anything to seem prolonged. I wouldn't want anything to necessarily happen more than once. You know what I mean? So, because that makes me nervous. Yeah. It makes me nervous.
I can understand 100% with you. But then it makes me think about the things that make me nervous about a monogamous relationship. Mm-hmm. I also see a lot of people in monogamous relationships get stuck in those marriages and in those relationships because they have such strong feelings about the monogamy aspect of things, and the whole part of when we marry to each other, we said to death do us part. And then you're sitting here unhappy in this relationship because of that. I see a lot of women depressed, or men feeling stuck and trapped because of that commitment. Because truth of the matter is, the love fades in and out. Not going to be all lusty and in love and in love for the entire relationship. And that's where that turmoil and the troubles and the problems and the conflict happens in between. That scares me about marriages. That actually turns me off about relationships altogether, which is probably why I've been so single for such a long time, because I became so protective over my space and my happiness and my energy that I refuse to let anybody take that from me now. And I feel like a monogamous relationship, it's going to be taken from me at one point.
Yes.
I don't know if it's because of my own experiences and watching my mom and watching my aunts and watching my family members be in their monogamous relationships. But those are my worries.
Yes.
Come to monogamy. I don't know.
Yeah, you put a lot on my brain. I'm gonna really consider this. In closing though, are we closing? I'm like in closing.
We closing.
I think what I would say is I would have to think about the person I was with. Okay. And I think now that this conversation is happening more, it might be worthwhile to have that in the conversation at the beginning anyway, because we tend to assume that people automatically or might think about monogamy as the default, but you might come into a situation that's not how the person thinks or has been wanting to try a polyamorous lifestyle or just have the conversation about it with someone that they're romantically involved with. So I would say number one, it is a conversation I will start having because I just automatically haven't had these conversations, assumed monogamy. It's like, do you want a relationship or do you want to just, but there's never been would you like to be in an open relationship? Would you like, that type of thing? And secondly, I think for me, no matter what I end up, and I think what I've just realized the deciding factor for me is the identity of my marriage is important to me. The loyalty in my marriage is important to me, whatever that looks like, and respect. Mm-hmm. If we are staying true, if we can both, in terms of our vows, we're agreeing to certain entities and what our vows are going to look like for us, because I feel like I'm going to write specific vows with me, like me and my fiance will write specific vows for us that's outside of the traditional vows too, because what are we agreeing to in this? So if we're agreeing to that, fine, but at minimum, there needs to be respect and full disclosure about whatever. If we go into it monogamously and then you want to change things, or you got really attracted to this person, or you're wanting to try something, respect and disclosure needs to come to me before you do anything. So that way within the unit of our marriage, we'll discuss what the options are. And we'll also be able to determine, like, is this marriage still what's needed, that type of thing. But
that comes with the understanding that we're going to continuously be growing. So the people who we are at this moment when we're getting married is not going to be the same people. Mm-hmm.
Right.
And that's another thing with relationships and monogamy with itself that scares me too, is if I'm doing this and then you get content right here, you're going to prevent me from doing this because I'm holding on to our marriage and you don't want to move with me.
Right.
And I end up stuck here with you. And that's something that I have to make clear in the beginning of the marriage, kind of like, I'm going to be growing, constantly growing. And if at one point you stop wanting to grow with me, we're going to have to rearrange something. We're going to have to part ways. We're going to have to do something to make something shake, because that is something I set. That is a requirement I made for myself. Mm-hmm. That is a vow I made to myself to continue to grow and let go of the hands of people who are preventing me from doing that. Mm-hmm. This was great. I didn't think this was going to go here, but everyone watching, listening in, let me get my words right. Comment section below, monogamy or a poly relationship. What do you want? Even if you do pick monogamy, what does a polyamorous relationship look to you? I would love to hear all the different types of poly relationships, how they shape, what they look like. I'm Shayna Singleton. This is Cousin Carlie. Like, subscribe, share, Thank you all for listening in.